James Harper never imagined a foul smell could unravel his quiet life. It was a chilly March evening in 2025 inside a modest house in Sacramento's Oak Grove neighborhood. James and his wife Emily had bought the place 3 months earlier from an old woman named Margaret Foster. It wasn't fancy, but it was cozy enough for them and their 3-year-old daughter Sophie. Word was Margaret had moved to San Francisco to live with her son. Life felt normal at first. James coded software, Emily handled bank paperwork, and Sophie played in the backyard. But by mid-April, a strange odor crept into their home. It came from the kitchen, a musty, rancid stench like rotting wood mixed with something foul. James figured it was old trash or a dead rat stuck somewhere. He tore through cabinets, emptied bins, and sprayed deodorizer. Nothing worked. The smell lingered, growing thicker each day. Emily grew anxious. Maybe it's a leaky pipe or a busted sewer, she said, her voice shaky. Nights became sleepless, the stench seeping into their dreams. Sophie cried, refusing to sleep alone because the house smelled scary. James had enough. On May 12th, he called a plumbing crew to check it out. That noon, under Sacramento's blazing sun, the workers drilled into the wall behind the kitchen where the smell was worst. James stood nearby, clutching his phone, hoping for a quick fix. But as the drill bit through the old plaster, a dull thud echoed. The wall cracked and a putrid wave hit them, a sickening, unmistakable reek of death. One worker yelled, voice cracking, "What the hell is this?" "That's no pipe." James stepped closer, heart pounding. He grabbed a hammer, smashing the wall. A cloudy plastic sheet poked through the concrete. When he yanked it, everyone froze, a patch of purple, rotting human flesh. Emily screamed, scooping Sophie and bolting outside. James, hands trembling, dialed 911. Within 15 minutes, Sacramento police sealed off the house. Neighbors crowded the street, whispering about a body hidden in the walls. A horrifying secret had just been unearthed, and this was only the beginning. By the evening of May 12, 2025, Oak Grove was a circus of flashing police lights. James, Emily, and Sophie huddled together, faces pale, as officers cordoned off their home. The neighborhood buzzed with rumors of the corpse in the wall. Detective Ryan Carter, a seasoned cop with salt and pepper hair and piercing eyes, took charge of the scene. He strode into the house, directing the forensic team with calm authority. The body pulled from the wall was a young woman wrapped in layers of plastic and old cloth heavily decomposed. The stench forced rookie officers to gag. Forensics estimated she'd been dead 6 to 9 months with a cracked skull suggesting a brutal blow. Ryan stared at the shattered wall, muttering, "Killed," and hidden in a house in broad daylight in a packed neighborhood. This guy's not just cruel, he's calculated. Ryan formed Task Force 512, a special unit to crack the case. Their mission: identify the victim, hunt the killer, and uncover the house's secrets. That night, under the morgue's harsh lights, forensics found no ID, no tattoos, no clear fingerprints. But one detail stood out. The wall hiding the body wasn't part of the house's original design. Someone had built it to conceal the corpse. This was planned, Ryan told his team. We need to dig into this house's past. On May 13th, Task Force 512 gathered at Sacramento PD's headquarters. Ryan spread out crime scene photos, the body house blueprints, bloodstains on concrete. He split the team into 3 groups, one to ID the victim through missing persons records, another to trace the house's history, and a third to check who'd been around last fall when the murder likely happened. The house history team struck first. The property belonged to Margaret Foster, 62, before she sold it to James Harper in February 2025. Margaret lived alone, barely mingling with neighbors. Records showed she'd let a young woman, Sarah Collins, 25, a freelance accountant, rent the place last summer. Sarah had no family and no official address. Oddly, she vanished in September 2024, and nobody reported it. Ryan called Margaret in San Francisco. Her voice quavered over the phone. "I don't know anything. Sarah rented a bit, then left. I thought she went back home." When pressed, she hung up. "She's hiding something," Ryan said, eyes narrowing. "Find Sarah, find Margaret, and tear that house apart." That afternoon, the neighborhood team got a lead from an elderly street vendor. "I remember Sarah," she said. "Last September, I saw her arguing with Margaret in the yard, yelling about money. Then Sarah was gone. I figured she moved." Ryan jotted it down, a chill creeping up his spine. An argument, a body in the wall, and a cagey landlord, the pieces were starting to fit. On the night of May 13th, rain drizzled outside. Ryan sat in his office staring at a crime scene photo, the broken wall, bloodied plastic. This wasn't just a murder. It was a door to a darker truth, and the killer was still out there watching. On May 16th, 2025, Sacramento PD buzzed with tension. Task Force 512 faced a puzzle. Margaret Foster's ironclad San Francisco alibi clashed with the damning audio of her threatening Sarah. Detective Ryan Carter knew the truth was slipping through his fingers unless he broke her. The 47-second clip, Margaret's voice ordering Sarah to shut up before a fatal thud, hung over the case like a storm cloud. Margaret sat in the interrogation room, looking drained, her silver hair disheveled. Ryan played the audio, letting her voice echo. "Explain this," he said, calm but razor sharp. Margaret's hands gripped the table, face paling. "That's not me." "Someone faked it. Tech can do that," she snapped, voice cracking. Ryan slid over a tech report. Voice analysis matched her old calls, 98%. "You were in San Francisco, but your voice was in Sacramento when Sarah died. Talk." Margaret froze, then mumbled, "Fine. I argued with Sarah, but I didn't kill her. She fell. I panicked. I left." Ryan's eyes narrowed, fell. "Forensics says she was hit hard in the neck. Who are you covering for?" That afternoon, a bombshell dropped. Detective Lam, digging into the San Francisco hotel's footage, found a clip from the storage room. It showed a young man about 25 in a cap and mask signing in as Margaret Foster on September 8, 2024. He'd faked her check-in. Ryan's team ID'd him fast. Kevin Brooks, Margaret's late husband's nephew, with a rap sheet for fraud. Ryan hauled Kevin in. Sweating in the interrogation room, Kevin stammered, "I just checked in for Aunt Margaret." She said she had business, didn't want anyone knowing. Pressed about September 7th, he crumbled. "Okay, I knew Sarah was dead, but I didn't kill her. Margaret told me to fake her alibi to keep her clear. I don't know more." By evening, Margaret was detained. Under pressure from the audio and Kevin's testimony, she cracked. "I paid Kevin to fake my alibi," she admitted. "Sarah threatened to expose some money stuff. I shoved her. She fell. I freaked and ran. But I swear, I didn't kill her. Ryan wasn't buying it." Sarah's neck wound wasn't from a fall. "You know who did this?" he pressed. Margaret looked down, silent. On May 17th, the team returned to the Oak Grove house. A final sweep revealed a chilling detail. The wall hiding Sarah was rebuilt in late September 2024 by a local contractor. The client wasn't Margaret, it was Mike Sullivan, Sarah's ex-boyfriend. A neighbor recalled seeing Mike around the house days after Sarah vanished, hauling cement and tools. Ryan ordered Mike's arrest. That night, they nabbed him at a gaming parlor on Sacramento's outskirts. Mike, 30, lanky with shifty eyes, played dumb. "I haven't seen Sarah in months," he claimed. But Ryan showed a recovered text from his phone. "Clean it up, leave no trace, I'll pay you." Mike's jaw locked. That night, Ryan stared at the evidence board: Margaret's fake alibi, Kevin's deception, Mike's wall. "We're up against a web," he told the team. Sarah's death wasn't random. She knew something, and someone wanted her silenced forever. One question burned. What was Sarah about to expose Ryan was closing in, and the killer's mask was slipping. By May 14, 2025, Sacramento PD was a pressure cooker. Task Force 512 was racing to solve the murder of Sarah Collins, the woman found in the wall. Forensics confirmed her identity through a hair sample from her old apartment matching the body's DNA 99.7%. Ryan studied Sarah's file, muttering, "A young woman killed brutally, and nobody cared enough to report her missing." The killer knew how to make her disappear. The team scoured California's missing persons database. Sarah's case was barely noted, mentioned only by a friend months ago. Ryan's focus shifted to Margaret Foster, the house's former owner. He ordered her summoned from San Francisco for questioning. While waiting, the house history team found a bombshell. A convenience store camera near Oak Grove caught Sarah entering the house at 8 p.m. on September 7, 2024. She never left. Ryan replayed the footage, jaw tight. What happened that night? The neighborhood team dug up another witness, an old newspaper delivery man. "I saw Sarah and Margaret fighting in September," he said. "Sarah was screaming about dirty secrets and not staying quiet." After that, she was gone. Ryan's pulse quickened. A fight, a hidden body, and Margaret's evasiveness, it was all connecting. On May 15th, Margaret arrived at the station. At 62, with silver hair and a frail frame, she looked harmless, but her eyes were sharp. Ryan started softly. "Margaret, did you know Sarah Collins?" She nodded, voice shaky. "She rented my place, then left. I thought she went home." But when Ryan asked about September 7th, she faltered. "I don't recall. Maybe she left while I was asleep." Ryan leaned in, showing the camera footage. "Sarah entered your house that night and never came out. Explain that." Margaret paled but recovered fast. "I'm old, I don't notice everything. Maybe she used the back door. I don't have cameras." Her words were too polished, like a rehearsed script. That afternoon, a twist hit. Bank records showed Margaret withdrew a large cash sum in San Francisco on September 7, 2024. Hotel cameras confirmed she checked in there on September 8. Perfect alibi, a young detective gasped. She couldn't have killed Sarah from 100 miles away. Ryan wasn't convinced. "Too perfect," he said, slamming the table. "Smart killers don't slip up, but they always leave a crack." He ordered another sweep of the house. That night, the tech team brought wall scanning gear to Oak Grove. The results were chilling. Not just the wall hiding Sarah, but 2 other kitchen walls were rebuilt, not matching the original blueprints. Breaking one open, they found a smashed phone, no SIM, but an intact memory card. Ryan rushed it to tech. Hours later, they extracted a 47-second audio clip. Sarah's voice panicked. "What are you doing? Let me go. I'll leave, okay?" Another woman, icy. "You dare dig into that? I told you to shut up." A loud thud, then silence. Ryan played, the audio heart racing. That cold voice was unmistakably Margaret Foster's. But how was she in Sacramento killing Sarah while cameras placed her in San Francisco? The cracks were widening, and Ryan knew the killer or their accomplice was close to slipping. On May 18, 2025, Sacramento PD was a pressure cooker. Detective Ryan Carter and Task Force 512 were at the case's endgame. Sarah Collins' murder wasn't just personal, it hit a secret worth killing for. Mike Sullivan, Sarah's ex, was now the prime suspect. His text, "Clean it up. Leave no trace," was damning, but Ryan needed a knockout blow. In interrogation, Mike sweated, denying everything. Then Ryan dropped a bombshell. Mike's fingerprint lifted from the plastic wrapping. Sarah's body matched perfectly, thanks to FBI's cutting-edge tech. Cornered Mike. Broke. After 10 grueling hours, Mike confessed. Sarah had worked as an accountant for Bright Horizon Builders, a construction firm where Mike and Margaret held stakes. In 2020, the company tanked and Mike siphoned off millions blaming Sarah. Out of loyalty to Margaret, who'd helped her, Sarah stayed quiet. But in summer 2024, Sarah learned the Oak Grove house she rented was bought with Bright Horizon's dirty money. She started gathering evidence threatening to expose Mike for money laundering and tax evasion. On September 7, 2024, Mike confronted Sarah at Margaret's house. When she vowed to go to the cops, Mike snapped, grabbing a hammer and smashing her neck. She collapsed dead. Mike fled to his parents' house faking an alibi. At dawn, he returned with cement and tools, building the wall to hide her body. Margaret found out days later. When Sarah's absence raised questions, Mike begged her to stay silent, offering to fake her San Francisco alibi to shield her from scrutiny over their shared financial past. Margaret agreed, fearing her own secrets would unravel. Ryan stared at Mike, voice like ice. "You thought a wall would bury it." Sarah left clues? Tex had found a hidden video on Sarah's phone recorded before her death. In it, Sarah confronted Mike. "I know you and Margaret laundered money through real estate. This house is proof. I'm bringing the truth to light." The video, fingerprint, and confession sealed Mike's fate charges for murder evidence, tampering, and fraud. Margaret didn't escape. Though not the killer, she admitted to hiding the crime and faking her alibi. Ryan summed it up at the final briefing: Margaret chose silence for money. It cost Sarah her life. On May 19th, as the team prepared to close the case, a final twist emerged. Sarah's phone held an unsent email draft dated September 6, 2024, addressed to Tom Reed, a renowned Sacramento investigative reporter. It read, "Tom, I've uncovered a money laundering ring through California real estate. Dozens of properties from Sacramento to LA are fronts funded by shell companies like Bright Horizon Builders. The house I'm in, 127 Oak Grove, is one link. If anything happens to me, start with Bright Horizon case file BH2220. Ryan sent the email to the FBI. That afternoon, a federal task force, Operation 51T, launched to probe the laundering ring. Bright Horizon's 2020 records showed a tax evasion probe that mysteriously fizzled, likely due to a high-ranking official's interference. Funds from Bright Horizon flowed through dummy companies, buying over 20 properties, including Sarah's death house. On May 20th, David Miller, a former Bright Horizon employee, turned himself in. Shaking, he confessed to destroying records under Mike's threats, but had kept a backup. "Sarah reached out to me, but I was too scared," he said. "Now she's gone. I can't stay silent." His hard drive detailed $50 million laundered through real estate, matching Sarah's findings. That evening, Operation 5119 sent the case to California's DA. Mike and Margaret faced prosecution, but the case had grown beyond murder. Sarah wasn't just a victim, she'd nearly exposed a sophisticated crime network. Ryan wrote in his case, "Logs Sarah paid with her life, but she cracked open the darkness. Truth always finds a way." The case closed, but a bigger investigation loomed. In Sacramento, silent houses might hide more horrors. Sarah's death rang a warning. Sometimes unveiling truth demands a sacrifice, and someone must dare to face the shadows.